Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 28th, 6:21 p.m. in my locale, and it's about 78 degrees. It's still raining, coming back and forth, and every so often, I'll move that camera. Every so often, the wind kind of rocks the Carrie Ellen back and forth a little bit, but it's kind of a gentle sway. It's not crazy. So, I know announcements. We'll go to announcements first. I got to do something most of you haven't done. I got to talk to the great and powerful Linda Barker yesterday, and she kept me up past my bedtime, but boy, it was worth it. Linda, I hope you are feeling much better. Watch that knee. You know, I have a knee issue too. Lets me know when it rains, but please take care of yourself, and all of us are thinking well thoughts about you. Let's go to our daily Zen poem. What truth am I talking about? I am talking about truth of the ground of mind, which can enter into the ordinary and the sacred, into the pure and the polluted, into the absolute and the conventional, and is yet not the absolute, conventional, ordinary, and sacred, but is able to give names to all the absolute, conventional, ordinary, and sacred. Someone who has realized this cannot be labeled by the absolute or the conventional, by the ordinary or the sacred. If you can grasp it, then use it, without labeling any more. This is called the mystic teaching. Lin Chi, 867. Alright, I like that enough. I'm going to save it. Hang on. There we go. So, let's see. Daily Rune Pull. By the way, I didn't say it before. I am still at the Southern Comfort RV Resort in Florida City, Florida. I have to speak to either my business manager, who's parked over there, or my general manager, who I don't know where he is. I don't know where he went, but we have to see if we can go home today, or we have to wait one more day. It's really not up to us. It's the National Park Service. But the guy next door to me is one of the employees of the National Park Service. So it's kind of like, you know, everybody in that very small community went on vacation. So it's kind of fun. I haven't had a vacation in years. Actually, I don't remember the last. 4 years ago? 3 years ago, I was forced to go on vacation. Hey. There we go. I like that. Very timely, guys. Let's find out. That is the rune of partnership. Okay. 89. Gebo. Gebo. Drawing this rune is an indication that partnership of some form is at hand, which we already are doing here. But you are put on notice not to collapse yourself into that union. Hey, now we're getting into what I wanted to talk about today. For true partnership is only achieved by separate and whole beings who retain their uniqueness even as they unite. Remember to let the winds of heaven dance between you. There is another realm of partnership that we are being called to consider, for that path of partnership can lead you to the realization of a greater union with the higher self, and union with the divine. The ultimate gift of this room is the realization of the divine in all things. God always enters into equal partnerships. The rune of partnership has no reverse. It signifies the gift of freedom from which flow all other gifts. Whoa. Exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I can try a case overview, but he is out. You know, I gotta tell you, he sleeps in the rain like I sleep in the rain. Yeah, he's zonked. So we'll let him sleep. All right. So that was the message of the day. You were talking about partnership. I was going to say community, which I think is an important thing. You know, many of the people I work with here, or work with, you know, we're part of a very small community. We're like 50 of us. I mean, there's not a whole lot of us around. So what happens is, I would have to say fully 2/3 of us are either here at the campground, or here at the resort, or at the hotel about a mile away. Because what they do is the employees that were employee housing were told out in Z. So they pretty much all camped out at the Best Western up the street. So we've had employees come back and forth, you know, through the resort. So we're all together, and you know, everybody's making calls to everybody else. Are you okay? Do you need anything? And that's really, really nice. that level of community. Here, my business manager's over here. Her husband's over here. The other naturalist is over here. One of the captains is over here. The other captain is over here. I moved my spot. I was parked next to a tree, and I was talking to one of the captains, and I said, I'm not comfortable. And he went, yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable either near that tree. I walked around the tree, and it was all kind of mushy. And for those of you who know me, you know I had an incident with a tree in my car, and Carrie's car, and it was terrible. So I called, and I moved my spot. I went across the street. Now there's like a palm tree or a coconut tree, but real thin pieces that are coming out. And it looks pretty solid. There's not a lot of water here, so I'm okay. So let's go back to community. This is a very small community of people, okay? And they're all a little different. They all have some different skills, but I also realize deep inside, these people, I may stay in touch with them. I may call them. If they need something, I'm happy to help. They have been helping me. That's really nice. The way that a community is supposed to function. Don't get fooled. They are not tribe. Because someday they're not going to be here. They can come and go. And that's perfectly fine. That freedom that we were talking about is great. I don't get too deep into what I'm thinking, what I think is right, whatever. I just try to be a good human being. And when something gets a little strange, I tend to be the, okay, so you have to go potty? And I just walk away from it. So that's the message of the day. It's okay to be a good human being. Even with people who are absolutely bat crap crazy. We are dealing with demented children for delayed adulthood who have been poorly programmed in their school systems and their colleges, and they act out and they go nuts and they go crazy. And the question is, you can maintain and be a good human being, expected that the person across from you is absolutely deranged. Unless they're a tribe. And if they're not tribe, they're zombies. And you have to just, unless they prove that they're on the level, that's fine. Still lock your door. If you're with them, that's perfectly fine. Let them walk in front of you. Don't put them behind you. These creatures are now completely unpredictable, and everybody who is a nature nut like me knows wild animals do things for reasons sometimes we don't understand based on sensory input that we either have or don't have. I'm not saying don't be a nice person. I'm not saying go up and not shake hands. I'm not saying whatever it happens to be. What I'm saying is watch your back. Because anybody in a community can turn on you in a second. And don't ever think that I know that if I go down and sit with them for a couple minutes and they go, or if I'm not there, I'm here in the Carrie Ellen and Queso and I are grooving, making soup or whatever it happens to be. Don't think for a second that I don't think that they're yapping about me, because that's what people do. And they probably say some good stuff. And they probably say some bad stuff. And the answer is, I don't give a. We don't talk about people. We talk about ideas. We talk about concepts. We talk about recipes. But we don't chat about people. Caveat. Unless we're concerned about them. If we're worried about somebody, if we as a tribe are worried about a tribe member, we should talk about them. And I'm not saying go have an intervention. I'm saying I'm concerned about Bob. Yeah, me too. Somebody's going to have to take point and go talk to Bob. There's always going to be one person in your tribe and their skill is going to be a healer. The healer should do it. Or the more empathic person should do it. They should take it upon themselves to do it. They shouldn't be directed. That's another thing I was thinking about, but that's another day. It has to do with rank and authority, and why do we need such? Maybe we can all be in charge of ourselves, but that thought's not fully formed yet. Another day. Other than that, my daily plan. I'm going to go see my business manager when she's walking around or outside. She's probably still working remotely. And because we have 17 people coming in on Friday. I don't know how they're going to get there, but that's fine. Either I'll talk to her or call my general manager and say, am I leaving? And if they go, yeah, you can come back now, I will pack up. I will let the resort know that's fine. I will head to the grocery store because I'm already here, right? On the way back, grab some gas, head back to spot 9, and hook back up and start all over again. And then tomorrow I go to work. Who knows what I'm going to do? There are no boats in the water. You know, so I'll probably be helping put boats in the water, which is fine. I can drive a truck and flag for the big boat if they need that. I can, if you bring me a skiff, I can tie it up. That's fine. It doesn't really matter what I do. It just matters that I'm doing and getting paid. And getting paid. And getting paid. And getting, you get the point. Oh, thank you for volunteering. I'm not a volunteer. I work, I get paid. Cash on the barrel head, or you put me on a time clock, but I do not work for free. I am not a volunteer service. If you want somebody to work for free, call the Red Cross. Not a volunteer. So, let's see, what else we got? I'm looking at my fridge, and I'm having a very small amount of leftovers. I took out some chicken that I was going to make yesterday, but I didn't. I threw it in the fridge. And I think what I'm going to do with the wind and the rain, it's a little damp, but it's not. It's like 78 degrees, but it's a little damp. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some leftover chicken I have. I'm going to cook this chicken with a little bit of rice or noodles, probably rice. And I'm, put it in the Instant Pot, put in some bouillon, some spices, and cook it up. And then I'm going to take that chicken out. I'm going to strip it, take the skin off and the bones, save the skin and the bones. We're going to make bone broth. And then take that chicken and chop it up, dump it back, pull the rice out, let it steam out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back into it, and we're going to add some chicken broth, and we're going to add some mixed vegetables, and we're going to add the pieces of chicken, and we're going to let that go a little bit in the Instant Pot, and we're going to make a nice chicken rice soup. And Queso can have chicken rice soup. I just have to strain out the broth for him, and he'll eat that as long as I put it in the blender, and that's fine by me. And, if somebody needs a bowl of soup, they can stop by, and that's fine. If not, soup freezes pretty well, so we'll be okay. But that's the plan of the day. It is now 6:33 a.m., and I'm probably going to, while this is uploading, grab a shower and get started on the rest of my day. I've already had 1 1/3 cups of coffee. And other than that, we're hunkering down and trying to handle the storm. Right now, the eye of the storm is about even with Miami. So that's actually above us a little bit. So we might get hit by that other tail of it. I'll talk to the other captain and see what he says. Other than that, it might just be silly wind and rain, and the National Park Service will reopen. I can always bang on the door of the guy next door and say, hey, can we go back? And he'll tell me, because he works for the National Park Service. So have a good day. Have a lot of fun. Do something neat. And we're back to it. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.